Hello everyone, it is me, Game Penguin 21, and today, well, I wanted to talk about a few different things, but the one big thing that I want to talk about today is the Squad. And I think I know everyone knows that I can't say some of the words within that thing, but you know what I'm talking about. I will just call it KJL, whatever. You know what I mean. The Squad game that is of the unaliving variety. I don't know how to say this without just like completely and utterly just destroying my monetization possibility when and if I get this video ever monetized. So yeah. But there's been a lot of capping for that game because, well, the Justice League unaliving is, well, it's pretty bad. Not only is it bad, it's just bad in such a way that kind of makes you wonder how it got released in the first place. One of, if not the biggest things here, is that there's a lot of context surrounding this. The original founders of Rocksteady left prior to the release of this game. The actual people working on this game seem to be the type of people who would write some of the things in this game. And overall, the game's writing, gameplay loop, entire thing, grounded reality, and, well, graphics and other stuff have all been downgraded, and not just a step down, too. We're talking falling off a little hill, and then into a lake, where it proceeds to drown. All creativeness and all freedoms within this game seem to be constricted to the item shop. And what of it? It's a live service game. Why are you getting upsetty about it? Well, more to the point that, number one, it's been done better and more, interestingly enough in other games, as well as not only is this done bad, but it somehow is exactly what everyone expected, only worse. So, yeah. Seeing as how I have not played this game, I can't really talk onto it more than that, really. But even from just the gameplay and the reviews that I've seen, I can pretty much gather that this thing is not worth $70, nor is it worth $100. And to quote this man here, by the name of, called Classic Cage here, he says, "I can't imagine capping for a garbage game like Suicide Squad, let alone playing it with the sea of amazing releases already and closely upcoming titles as well. Pal World, Tekken 8, Persona 3, I believe he means Persona 3 Reloaded on the thing, like the remastered version of it. Grand Blue Fantasy, Relic, Sheesh, with a very confused cat face. And I agree. Why cap for this game? It's kind of garbage. Well, we do have one person who we need to talk about, and that is, of course, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Reforge Gaming, or as I'm probably going to call him a bit in this video, Mr. Hypocrite Gaming. Why? Well, because in the last video that we were talking about him, we talked about how he doesn't cite sources, and yet he cites the sources of literally everything that he talks about. I don't know if I ever talked about this specifically, but to get to the very quick point before we get to the official top stuff that he's talked about, he says that his show is not based on citing sources, even though he reads articles from sources on the internet, but he doesn't rely on them, and he also says that he has other sources that he doesn't call upon often because that's not what his show is based on. Even though that is incorrect. A lot. Anyway, I think that that'll about do it for this bit, so let's get into the actual stuff that I wanted to talk about. With Reforge Gaming first one being, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League has two common generic criticisms. It's repetitive, and it's live service.
Don't ask questions. Just consume product and then get excited for next product.
Yes. Exactly. And that's why it's bad. If you're the thing is that it's repetitive and it's live service are the bad things, yeah, that'll really ruin a game because it has an upward trend. It has an upward battle even without all of the other stuff. That's not to mention all of the people saying that the gameplay loop is repetitive and boring. Not only repetitive and boring, but repetitive and boring in a way that's just not good. It doesn't make it fun. And he does bring this up in another clip of his that I don't have access to because I just forgot to grab it. But he basically says that every gameplay loop is repetitive. And in some cases, he is correct. However, at the very least, with the other gameplay loops that are technically repetitive, say, for instance, Pal World, where it does become a repetitive thing, it at least feels like you're accomplishing something, overcoming the odds to, actually do something. Whereas in Suicide Squad, no. Just straight up, no. It feels like you're basically chewing gum and walking at the same time. Not really an accomplishment. And even still, it's just annoying and not fun at all. At least in games like Pal World and Minecraft, it is fun and entertaining for the time that it's there, and you are still thinking about the game and progressing in a way that makes sense. This game doesn't have that. He next up has to basically say that Helldivers has outlined the post-launch playable content being free, which, again, is an interesting point. But the tweets above actually make it very stupid that he even said that. For one reason, the person that he's talking about, or defending in this context, says this: why is the media okay with Helldivers 2 being a gas looter shooter, but not cool with Suicide Squad, which has an amazing main campaign and is simply a superior game? The double standard is crazy. Ah yes, the main campaign, where you do the exact same 5 or 6 missions 10 to 12 times each. And that's just to get to the end game. Not to mention that the end game at this point is a grindy, repetitive mess of absolutely bottom-of-the-barrel tier gross gameplay of it, like escorting missions and these other missions. Like, dude, what the fuck? This game sucks so much. How can you not... Not to mention the fact that Mighty Keith brings up that Helldivers 2 was actually $40, with the full price game tag of, well, it not being $70 to even $100. Not only mentioning the fact that Suicide Squad had a lot of problems with their servers on release, and had a bug to make it sure that you 100%'d the game when you launched it. Yeah. That is just... How does that happen?
Stupid!
Next up, of course, we have him replying to IGN saying the headline versus what Kevin Conroy thinks, quoting Kevin Conroy saying that he just jumps at the opportunity to play Batman, and he likes the connection to the character, with, IGN's opinion basically saying that Conroy's Batman was completely wasted in the Squad game. Which it kind of was. I mean, again, if you're going to have him reprise his role, why did you write him out of, 90% of the story? Or at least it feels that way. Again, I haven't really played it to really understand the amount of lines in the actual dialogue of his game, or of this game, so maybe there's more, but from what I've seen, he doesn't really impact the story in any meaningful way. And what's more disrespectful is that there is an entire Batman speech of this amazing, serious thing on how to kill him, how to do this, how to do that they fast forward through. Like, what the fuck? Plus, I also think that it's in my personal headcanon that there's a build of this game that Kevin Conroy actually really liked a lot of it. The main reason being is that maybe he had more lines that they had to cut for, well, to make it palatable for a modern audience. Kinda makes you think. Next up, of course, we've got him comparing the 2 reviews of Suicide Squad to Redfall with an I'm not sure if it's fair. I'm sure it's a fair review that weighed all the aspects of the game and are scored it just 1 point above the disastrous launch of Redfall. The game didn't meet fan expectations that the devs never set, and here we are. A solid scoring game, slightly above a broken, unfinished garbage. Oh yeah, no, totally. By the way, I'm fairly certain this thing has like a 67 on Metacritic last time I checked, and that's what the reviewer scores. That's in before a bunch of the other scores for like, I think it's like at 2 point whatever on this. Yeah, I think that this is a pretty fair review, if not being a little bit generous. Not only in the fact that, well, again, while yes, Redfall did have a disastrous launch and is a bad, very bad, gross game, Suicide Squad is at least playable. So, I mean, when you have that little of a difference but have a lot of the same issues and more somehow, if the game is playable, yeah, it's gonna be a little bit better than Redfall because that game was also very much playable but not really. Again, it is a grindy live service guff that's the problem. And once more, I can't really read it because the screenshot's very weird and, like, low quality here. But looking at this, they look about the same. But here's the biggest reason that I think that this is not only bullshit, but the fact that he just is talking out his butt, is that the game didn't meet fan expectations that the devs never set. That's not how expectations work. The expectation is that they deliver on the status quo of which they are known for when it comes to them making art. Yes, absolutely. You can have a game that sucks in a series, and that does suck to the actual franchise of it. But when you continuously and repeatedly just shit in the mouth of the people who built your company up to be good and, you know, gave you valid criticism, and you just completely and utterly shit on everything of your legacy, yeah, people are going to get a bit upset about that. Oh, but Rocksteady didn't have a legacy. They made the Arkham games, and you shouldn't expect them to have the same level of quality. Why the fuck not? Why the fuck not should I not expect a game by the developers who made the Arkham series, who basically made a lot of the superhero palettes that has now been trying to be aped by more modern games and has left a lasting legacy as some of the best feeling Batman games ever? Why shit in the mouth of that legacy, Rocksteady? Why do that? That seems kind of stupid, don't you think? And sure, fan expectations might have been a little high here. I'm not gonna lie. But at the same time, when you deliver on the quality games, you should at least expect some sort of actual legitimate criticism when you completely shit the bed like this. Just... Dear God. I think lastly, we'll take a look at his one little clip here that talks about a lot that has to do with this. It's only about 40 seconds and we'll end off on it.
Feedback. First, the character models. I can't believe some of the people insisting that the characters don't look good. John Linneman from Digital Foundry said the following, and here's his tweet. He says, I gotta say, the character models in Suicide Squad are among the best I've seen in any recent game. Now, I tried to...
Well, you are blind. Not only are you blind, but you have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. Again, there is a video floating out around there, and I might link it in the description, or pull up a screenshot or something like that, that compares this game to Arkham Knight, where you have the same Harley outfit, and let me just say, you can actually see, like, the reflective surfaces of the latex in the shot. You can see the light reflecting off of the actual suit, and even see the fucking wrinkles, and how the light reflects and rebounces off in that way. You can see the rain-soaked streets and hear the amount of liveliness and, well, chaos of this city. in Batman Arkham Knight and stuff. And yet, in Suicide Squad, you get none of that. It is boring. And the characters look like a complete and utter step down in quality.
Show this before the game came out. I'm trying to show people, I was like, just compare older Harley Quinn models from the game's previous to now, right? And it's remarkable the difference in the quality.
Correct. It is a complete and utter step down in quality when you compare the two side by side. I remember seeing this video. I really should find it when I'm editing this and put it over what I'm saying right here, because that would be so fucking amazing to find.
The fact that people are saying Wonder Woman and Harley Quinn aren't attractive, I just think some of you need to broaden your horizons on what you think makes someone good looking.
I think that that is a difference in opinion that I understand. Now, I think that that little last bit of, oh, they're not attractive, is more to a subjective standpoint, but I can safely say that graphics-wise, it's definitely looking more washed out and not as good. Because, again, I've seen the Arkham games, and those games look fantastic. Now again, whether or not the attractiveness of females in games is not a story for this one. That's more of a thing to talk about with Stellar Blade, because personally, I think that Stellar Blade looks nice. And there's also videos that are on that one as well, but we're not talking about that. Moreover, if not that, one of the biggest things that I think can really cap off how fucking dumb this game is the fact that, well, again, even before the game released, they had a glitch for the 100% completion. They had server issues and infrastructure problems 2 days before release, not even with full capacity load of the servers. And moreover, they only hit about 10,000 concurrently on Steam at once. This game is bad. People are not buying it. You should not purchase or use your money to support the developers with this. Let them know that they fucked up. Anyway, I think that that'll about do it for this episode of I Ranted to a Microphone for No Reason About Video Games for about 15 to 20 minutes. My name is GamePenguin21. I know that I've been wrangling on and stuff, but I'm looking to hit 1K by the end of the year. If you'd like to help me out with that, please hit that subscribe button. It would really help me out, and I love every single one of you. More music coming out probably in the next month-ish. It's more of a single this time, not a full release of an album, but it's one that I will probably release sometime in March because that's a special month for me. But of course, out of all of this, I want to thank you all so much for watching this video. If you've made it this far, my name is GamePenguin21, and a peace off.